Hi there, my friends. Welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today we have a very important story, I think, because it is based in history. It's based on something that really happened, and it's one family's story about how they got through it. Has anyone ever heard of something called partition that happened between India and Pakistan in 1947 after the British left? So what happened is that Pakistan wanted its own state, but what the British did is that they ended up drawing this line based on nothing between two areas in the northwest corner of India. And then there was this huge rush that somehow it was the rule that everyone who was Muslim in that area had to move to the Pakistan area, and then everyone who was Hindu or Sikh had to go into the Hindu part. And so this caused this giant movement, and it was not good. A lot of people lost their homes and their lives, and sometimes they even lost part of their families. People went missing in this big rush. So this is one story about that. This is called The Moon from Dehradun, a story of partition, by Shirin, Shamsi and Tarun Lak. Dehradun has always been home. My Dada was born here and his Dada before him. And Guria has been with me since I was born, since Dadi made her from the softest cotton, with bright button eyes and a long woolen braid. Guria, I learned, is actually a Hindi word for doll. So that's her little dolly there. She named her Guria. I wrap her soft and snug in Ammi shawl. Ammi is her mother. We are moving, I whisper in her ear. In 5 days we will go on a train ride. I arrange sweet scented flowers in her hair. There is shouting outside. Why are people angry? I ask. They are afraid, Ammi says, because our home has been divided and some of them don't know where they belong anymore. When Ammi makes halva is this sweet, sweet dish. It's a sweet, and it's made from like semolina flour and sugar and a few other ingredients. She cuts it into pieces. So she's thinking, can you cut a place into pieces? Can that happen to a place? Noises from the street awaken my baby brother. He cries, Azra, Ammi calls, bring Chotu. I put Guria on the bed and lift Chotu into my arms. His drool stains my kurta, her shirt. I wrinkle my nose. Ammi stirs the simmering pot. My tummy growls, but we must wait for Abba, her father, to return with our tickets. The noise outside grows louder. Chotu reaches for Ammi. Abba arrives. Breathless, he wipes sweat off his forehead. We must leave now, Abba says. There is a train leaving for Lahore tonight. Lahore, Pakistan. But what about dinner? I ask. There is no time to eat. It's not safe. We cannot wait another day. Ammi turns off the fire. Dal chawal sits in a pot warm on the stove. Fluffy buttered rice ready to eat. My empty tummy fills with fear. Ammi looks around. No time to pack. She sighs and slips her rail into a cloth bag. Chotu wriggles as I hold him. Gently, Ammi takes him from me. Through the veranda to the back gate, we make our way to where Abba waits. He lifts us into the truck, hot, sticky, huddled together. Across the street, a new flag flutters in the wind. Before it was the British flag, now it's the Indian flag. Guria, I yell. We left Guria. We cannot go back, Abba whispers. The muezzin's call echoes from the minaret. That's the mosque in the background there. I think it sounds like a sad goodbye. The fruit seller's cart sits empty on the street. The dhobi sits quietly. That's the washerman. Bibiji holds a tasbih in her hand, this grandmother lady here, her lips moving in prayer. I stare at Chotu fiercely. It's all his fault. He made me forget. The truck races fast down the road. My heart races too, and the moon chases after us. I turn to Ammi for a hug, but her arms are wrapped tight around Chotu. I would wrap my arms around Gurya and hold her close to my heart, but my arms are empty and my eyes are filled with tears. So here's a picture of all this chaos that's going on. Everyone is leaving if they're Muslim, and now they're going to the Muslim side of the border. And at the train station, even more chaos. There's not even that many trains that are going into Pakistan, and everyone is trying to get on them. If you guys are born and raised in the West, it's not an orderly system of everyone has tickets and you sit in your seat. No, it's whoever can fit on that train, especially during an emergency situation like this. At the station, we board the train. Wheels screech along the tracks as we pull away from home, away from Gurya. My heart sinks like a stone in a well. Clickety-clack, chugging along the track. We cannot go back. I look around and a sea of faces stares back at me. Why is everyone sad? I ask Ammi. When something breaks, it takes time to heal, Ammi whispers. A piece of me also feels broken. Everyone here had to leave their homes because if they were Muslim, it was not safe in India. And the same way the other way around. If they were Hindu on the Pakistan side of the border, it was not safe for them either in Pakistan. And all of this because someone decided to draw a line in the sand and didn't, probably on purpose, wanted there to be all kinds of unrest and chaos since they, the British, had to leave. So they did not want it to be peaceful for anyone. Days and nights pass. Chotu cries, restless to be free. He wriggles from Ammi's lap as she sleeps. I follow him as he crawls. This is like several days on this train. And it is, even though India might look like a small place, it is a very long train ride if you're going from one city to another, even major cities. I pull him into my arms. Look, Chotu, I point out the window. Look, Chand. Chandra, you might say in the south, the moon. It has followed us from Dehradun. It will be shining down on Gurya. I wish she were here. She will be afraid without me. Chotu hides his face in my shoulder. Are you afraid too? I ask. He sniffles and looks at me. I see my face mirrored in his eyes. Maybe he misses home too. Maybe he needs me also. It's okay, I tell him gently, even though he drools on me again. Hissing, the train shudders to a stop. Strangers offer us water and chapatis that taste better than the best feast on Eid. This is the thing that is so kind. See, there's a guy who's holding up chapatis and things. That's the kindest thing, that they know these people have just left everything and they've gone to a strange land. And look what's flying here in Lahore, the Pakistan flag. They've actually really divided up the two countries now. I give Chotu a sip first, and then I take a long gulp. We stand in line until my legs are sore. My kurta sticks to my skin with dust and sweat. An officer checks our paper and gives Abba new ones for a home here in Lahore. And guess what? People were actually just issued homes. How is a home just ready to move into? You just walk into it? It happens when someone else had to leave it in a hurry, the same way this family in India had to leave their home in a hurry. Look at the clues. Can you tell that this home belonged to a Hindu family that had to leave Pakistan in a hurry? This is the first thing I noticed. Here there's a little, we would call it a sannidhi. It's a little, or a mantapam in Tamil. It's like a little tiny house where you keep your idols and everything of gods. This is a very Hindu thing. This is a typically Hindu thing. And here we have, in Tamil, we would call them kutuvalaks. They are tall, standing silver diyas or silver deepams, and here's where you would put the wick in the very top. And so this is like exactly how my family and a lot of Hindu families would have that. These people were Hindu, they just left everything in a hurry. And look at the family's face when they walk in and they see this abandoned house that will be their home now. It's stunning. Silence greets us like a shadow in our new house. Empty rooms, clothes scattered. Did this family also leave in a hurry? In the kitchen, a pot of dal sits on the stove, cold and stale. Ammi and Abba are quiet. Chotu crawls happily on the hard tiles, and I follow him deeper into the house. So look, they just left everything. They too were not different from this family here, Azra's family. They had the same thing, chapatis, dal, probably some rice somewhere, and they weren't that different. But suddenly, because of their religion, they had to move. It doesn't make sense to me. When Chotu stops at a door and turns to me, I kneel on the ground beside him, wrapping him in a hug warmer than Guria's had ever been. We'll be okay. I pick him up and push the door open. It leads to a veranda. I breathe in the sweet scented flowers growing on a vine. I close my eyes and remember, Chotu, we are home. It looks a lot like her garden as well. A knock at the door startles us all. Who is that? Ammi calls. Abba answers the door. Assalamu alaikum. I'm not Muslim, I'm sorry. I think I didn't do that right. I'm so sorry. But look, there is a Muslim family. They already lived on this side of the border, so they did not have to move. And so they know they just got here. They must be hungry and tired after several days. And so they brought them food. Isn't that so kind? So everyone sits on a big mat. And in the south, we might call this a jamakalam. Our new neighbors enter with hot food and warm smiles, sweet halwa puri and spicy chole, that's chickpeas. We sit together gathered on the duri. Sharing food, strangers become friends. In the bedroom at night, I find a sad-looking doll, worn and ragged. Were you forgotten too? I whisper, wrapping the doll in my shawl and holding her close to my heart. Don't worry, I'll keep you safe. Maybe someone will take care of my Guria too. The stars shine down with light enough for everyone. A muezzin's call to prayer echoes through an open window like a hopeful hello, and the moon is still at last. So what happened to their home? This family's home. Here's a Hindu family that had to leave the Pakistan border. They walk into Azra's old home. They see everything scattered. But then this little girl finds Guria. And whether she knew it or not, somebody was taking care of Guria. So here is this little Hindu girl in India, what's now India, and officially India, I mean. And then she's taking care of Guria, and here is Azra in what now is officially Pakistan. And she's taking care of her new friend. So, if you're wondering where Dehradun was, just like me, it is up here in the northern part. So then they talk about the partition of India. And I wasn't kidding when I said some British guy just decided to draw a line in the sand. His name was Lord Cyril Radcliffe. And he said, it says here that the borders were crudely drawn and would lead to a further conflict and violence decades after its creation. And then they talk about how West Pakistan and East Pakistan separated. This became Bangladesh. And here you see Azra's journey. So here's Dehradun. They take this long train ride lasting days all the way to Lahore. So this was such an important book. It teaches you about history, and it also teaches you about all of this unnecessary violence and trouble that can happen when people go into a land that isn't theirs, and then they cause trouble for so many other people who are just trying to live their lives. This is called The Moon from Dehradun, A Story of Partition by Shirin Shamsi and illustrated by Tarun Lak. And so if you like this story and other stories like this, join us again on Indian Story Read Along.